and basketball analysis with over 70 years combined experience. This is the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast.
NBA, some college, a little bit of everything.
You know, what can I say? But it wasn't going to happen here with him. I was okay with it.
All right, fellas, here we go. Bob Ryan, Jeff Goodman, Tangway along for the ride. Zoom and Pod right here on CLNS Media. Exclusively brought to you by PrizePicks, our exclusive daily fantasy partner of CLNS Media. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks. As we segue to the Knicks game, the Celtics should be forewarned that they may be able to do this, Robert, against Miami, but the competition as they advance is going to get tougher. And they might not get away with this.
I can see rooting for this, someone enjoying and rooting for this Knicks team. They've had the great what if, you know, how the Randall, because they were so good in January. And if that's the team you would be playing, you do have a lot to worry about. No, I agree. And now the Philadelphia, because of Embiid, everything depends on Embiid, everything, you know, it's, I got to figure New York.
Bob, what do you think of the criticizing? Because a lot of people are criticizing Embiid. Obviously, he's not at 100%, but he's been cleared by the doctors to go out there. And this is a guy who's been hurt a lot in his NBA career. So I give him credit. Like, if people are criticizing him, personally, I'm going the other way and saying, like, I love what Joel Embiid's doing, going out there and kind of gutting it out right now.
Well, this time we are on the same page. I totally agree. I admire his game. I think his heart and head are in the right place. It's a shame. His resume, I think he's played in like 60%. Remember, he missed the first two seasons. He didn't play his third year. And he's always been hurt. And it's never going to end, I guess. But boy, you know, this guy is an MVP, and he's an extraordinary offensive talent. And I think he wants to play. But when he's out there, they're very dangerous. And that's all. But all right, we got to get to the game.
Yeah. So the Sixers.
We got to get to that game.
So the Sixers scored 27 points on their first 18 possessions. The Knicks scored 8 points in 20.4 seconds remaining to come back and steal the game. So does this say more about the Knicks or more about the Sixers, Bob? Well,
if you watched it, it starts off with Jalen Brunson, who had not hit a three all night.
Right.
Throws one up in the corner, bounces up. It's a Don Nelson 1969 shot, and it falls back in, and that started everything.
Nelly!
For the record, here we go. I don't know how you guys feel, but the official NBA report is that the referees blew two calls that fouls should have been called when they were taking the ball away from Maxey. Two different times. And
it looked like football out there.
What
Bob,
good does
football.
My question, whose interests are served by doing this? That the NBA insists on doing this? Is this supposed to make Philadelphia feel better?
It's so stupid.
I don't get it.
Right. It's good for transparency, I guess.
Yeah.
But all this does is get more people pissed off that the refs are missing big calls in crunch time. I don't see what it serves either, Bob. I don't know.
They say, I'm reading, I just found this one out in the New York Post today, that the timeout that was not called, that was evident that he wanted. Now, here's the explanation. Following Hart steal from Maxey, it was determined that nurses' attempts to get a timeout at that juncture should not have been granted because, quote, it was simultaneous to Hart making contact with the ball and Philadelphia not having possession, unquote. All right. But it reminded me, guys, the first thing I thought of, Paul Silas and Richie Powers in the triple overtime game, the most famous refusal to call a timeout, where Richie Powers looks Paul Silas in the eye and goes, I'm not calling it. And this is what led to Al Bianchi, the assistant coach, commissioning a mock championship ring for himself. The inscription inside said, F you, Richie Powers. And he wore that ring
tremendous
his life, except until he lost it in the men's room. That's another story. But anyway.
We want to hear that story. But
he told me the story that he took it off to wash his hands one time and he forgot to put it back on.
Oh.
And somebody thinks they got a valuable championship ring. He said it cost about $50 to make, and it was a phony. But anyway, whoever picked up the ring. That's not secondhand. That's firsthand. He told me that himself.
Okay.
Late Al Bianchi. Anyway, that's the most famous non-call, timeout call ever. But we get back to the whole thing. This incredible sequence of events. And I'll tell you one thing. The guy I want to talk about that I had no idea 4 months ago he barely existed on this earth. Isaiah Hartenstein, Jeff, the Knicks, he has given them great service this year. Starting when Mitchell Robinson went down, it was woe is us, doom and gloom. And this guy has stepped up since January, really, and given them, adequate service in the middle. And he got a big offensive rebound, made an excellent outlet, back pass back out, and that without that, and then he makes the block.
Yeah,
on Maxey.
Huge block.
He's played well for them.
I mean, Maxey's got that burst that they're different players, but when I'm watching him, they're very different in how they score. But the first step reminds me a little bit of Andrew Toney. Andrew Toney was obviously bigger, stronger. But how about let's go Derrick Rose, younger Derrick Rose a little bit. Yeah,
explosion. He was
Derrick Rose would dunk on you more consistently than Maxey.
And he's a little bit. He's bigger than Maxey too.
Yeah,
but
that burst was similar. So Maxey he got to the basket, and Hartenstein that block was huge because, again, that whole game. Think about it. If Philly steals that one, you're talking now about them feeling good. They're commanding the series, and they get screwed by the refs. Hartenstein makes a great play. Everything had to go right.
Everything had to go right. Is right.
That Brunson three was such an ugly shot, but it hits the front iron and goes in. Then you get the calls. Then it was just one thing after the other at the end of the game. The block, and now you're looking at it and you're like, there's just no way Philly's going to be able to dig out of this with Embiid at 80%.
And there's one other subtle point in there that my collaborator on my friend Bill Chuck, my baseball book collaborator, pointed out that give DiVincenzo credit for having missed the shot from the left wing, more or less, the one that created the Hartenstein rebound. He repositioned himself in his real comfort zone down the middle. And I hadn't thought about that, but I think that was a conscious. I think that's a very good point. That that he just that's his favorite spot, and he repositioned himself where he could potentially do the most damage, and that was a swish. That was a swish. That second one. So yeah, and there's so much to talk about in 20 seconds. And you're right. But this. I'm going to enlarge your point here. This is why we love sports. This is why every time that discussion comes up about it's just entertainment. No, it is not entertainment. It's drama and real life, unscripted. And who could have plotted that? Planned that out the way it unfolded. That's why we love sport. And that was an exhibit A to me.
Well, I think it raises a couple of issues on both sides of the critical fence of the NBA, because Adam Silver, from what I heard Mike Gorman this morning on the Sports Hub talk about it. These guys are talking about it. Mike, as both of you know, has been around, knows. And they were discussing about letting them play, right? So do you let the guys play in the end of the game, and so that the referee is not going to determine the outcome of the game? So that's one side, which I like, right? Then on the other side,
to an extent.
Okay, that's fine. But on the other side, the criticism has always been the NBA wants more games. So the officials are going to make damn sure that Philadelphia gets a win. Because what I found interesting about this is usually this is when the other team gets the win and you go 1-1 and you go, okay, we got a series, and TV gets another game, right, Jeff? And they get another gate and there's more money to be made. And that's what we always felt with NBA series, but this was just the opposite this time.
It's an excellent point, because I shy away from any of those kind of conspiracy theories at all. I don't want to believe it. Maybe I'm just terminally naive, and that's the case. So be it. I don't want to go there, but I think you make an excellent point here, and you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it from. Well, we're going to get to LeBron in a minute, and
right.
Another aspect of this, but that's a very good point. Apropos of letting them play and all that. Yeah, and it's a fine line. What I hope is that I always want that the players will not put the referees in a position where they have to get involved. If they, but they got to contest shots and honest defense sometimes is it's sometimes you block the shot and sometimes you foul the guy. And if it's a crucial shot, what I don't like is when they involve themselves when they don't have to be involved. Nitpicking outside,
right?
Illegal picks, such as in the famous pick in the women's game, in the UConn game. So that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that bothers me. But sometimes you have to make a decision on these calls in terms of somebody shooting and contesting a shooter. It's those other kind of calls that you don't have to make that I think are concern me the most.
PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. PrizePicks is so easy to play. I can make my Celtic picks and make my entry in less than 60 seconds. Quick withdrawals and easy gameplay and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes PrizePicks the #1 fantasy sports app. Celtics and NBA fans, you can get in on PrizePicks in 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. On PrizePicks this week, I'm selecting Jason Tatum to dish out more than 5 assists and his teammate Jaylen Brown to have more than 22.5 points. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. PrizePicks. Jeff, another point I'm going to steal again from the interview. Hardy brought it up. I never would have thought of this, but my friend Hardy brought this up. Now with gambling, because none of us gamble, right?
Oh.
We don't. I mean, we're not in that world. But, there is this aspect that the officials don't want to be involved or make a call that could affect how somebody makes money. Right, Jeff? Is there that feeling like I'm not going to be the guy that determines whether somebody wins a bet now because everything's legal?
Yeah, I hope that's not the case in a close game like that. I think that's more a case when you're talking about the spread at the end of a game and they're making a call that, a shot at or a foul at the end of the game that could change the outcome of the line. But I think in this one, again, I just think they let him play too much at the end of the game. And it looked like a football scrum out there. And I was shocked as I'm watching it that no call was made. But they did. They let him play, and now the Knicks have a 2-0 lead. And they're not the only. I mean, there are four series right now that are 2-0, and as you said, Gary, that's not the script.
That's not the norm.
That's not the script at all. Bob, I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you have a thought on the gambling thing at all, or?
Oh well, definitely. There's so many aspects of it that, and it's that.
It's a whole new world. It's a whole new world.
I'm more concerned about it in the whole college thing, than I am in the NBA thing. And
okay.
Colleges and then the prop betting, which is already rearing its ugly head. And
look at Jonte Porter.
Prop betting is the real. Suddenly, the unintended consequence rule of life. The prop betting is the real peril for everybody right now, more than anything. It used to be about the spread, but now it's prop betting. Every individual player, could be, a felon.
The individual player can literally control a bet, where normally an individual player can't control the outcome of the game by themselves.
Right.
A player can now control whether or not somebody else wants to make money, like Jonte Porter did.
Yes. Yeah. By the way, what a bad week for Michael Porter Jr., huh? Oh my God. Two brothers in trouble. Anyway, the gambling thing, guys, that's topic, that's
we should talk about that in the off season more.
Oh, and the reason I brought that up is I was wondering if it would affect the officials now, and the reason why they put away the whistle. That's all. Look, the three of us aren't experts in it.
But the point is, with gambling hanging out there, there's always going to be a substantial portion of the population that's going to think about that first and foremost.
Well, I mean, and again, it's legal. I mean, this is legalized gambling now. So if everything's okay, everything's on the up and up. So, do you put that's all. I just think it's like, I know if I'm an official, I'm probably putting away the whistle unless it's really egregious.
Well, it's
which is what we want anyways. So, but you guys say it probably went too far. All right, let's move on to now to the Lakers. Now, I want to. I know we got there's a lot of meat on this bone here that we're going to chew on. But I think of LeBron. The Lakers are up 22 leading in the third, and Denver wins 101-99. This is LeBron James. I mean, Bob, this is LeBron James blowing a 22-point lead.
You know,
it's the first time I ever thought, is he hanging on too long?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to go there with necessarily, but see it as strictly a LeBron issue there, as the team issue. But the one thing, we've had enough examples already this year, not already, but all during the course of this year, in our own experience with the Celtics and charting the league in general, that we tend to overreact to big lead exchanges because and not realizing this is simply the nature of the NBA.
Well, that's true.
Particularly the nature of the NBA in the 3-point world that we now live in. That, maybe 30 years ago, it was a lot harder to come back, obviously, because and you would have been stunned. It's no longer that's stunning that you can make up these deficits in the NBA, and the ebb and flow of the league is the given. So now playoffs, it's more acute, and you're right, LeBron involved and that team involved, but you might, we always say team has blown a lead more than we tend to think team has overcome a lead. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a positive act than a negative act. And I didn't watch this one, so I don't know, Jeff. Did you guys? I didn't see the game. All I've ever seen is the highlight game-winning basket, and that's all I've seen. So I don't know how it transpired. What caused it? Were there turnovers? Whether they just go cold? I don't know what happened.
Well, it was Anthony Davis was so good, and D'Angelo Russell was so good early, and then they kind of came down to earth late, and then honestly, it was Jokic just taking advantage of Anthony Davis. Down the stretch.
Okay.
So Jamal Murray hitting a big shot, Aaron Gordon making big plays. I just think, ultimately one of the biggest things is, again, like, I don't know if this Lakers supporting cast is as good as people thought they were going to be, right? Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura. They're good bench guys to me. They're not guys you can rely on. And then it's so much on LeBron and AD. And again, D'Angelo Russell came out. I think he made like 6 threes in the first, half or minute, something like that. It was crazy. When he's cooking, then you got some pressure off. But then when he went cold, it's too much on AD. And we're just seeing that now, I think, like 2 guys. I mean, look at Phoenix right now, right? They got 3 guys. They got 3 guys, and it's not enough because your supporting cast has to be better. You can't spend all this money on 2 or 3 guys and try to fill in around them with these ancillary parts that just aren't good enough and don't fit.
Well, we've said all year that Phoenix's bench generally could go to the Professional Basketball Federal Protection Witness Program. People wouldn't know who they are for the most part. But once you get beyond, who's the number 4? Is it? It's Ayton, but and Grayson Allen, by the way, who just got hurt and who's important to them, and now they're really strapped. If they don't have enough deficit starts already. You're right. It's one thing about the Celtics now. I firmly believe their roster is not only the best in the league 1 to 5, it's the best in the league 1 to 6, 1 to 7, 1 to 8, right. 1 to 9, and now 1 to 10, and maybe 11. So because Cornette can play and Tillman can play. And, hell, maybe Brissett can play.
And they get their roles. They understand their roles. Hauser knows exactly what he's supposed to do. Pritchard knows exactly what his role is now. When Cornette, when he's healthy, like that is so important. The roster construction, and that's where you give Brad Stevens a ton of credit. What he's done constructing this roster. And I had somebody tell me this, and I know we're not on the Celtics right now, but I had somebody from the Celtics tell me this earlier this year, like a couple of weeks ago. This is the lowest maintenance group they've ever been around. Like just good, high, almost too nice. Look up and down the roster.
I know.
You don't have any turds on this team, anything close, and you're the most talented team, and you've been the best team. Like, that may play into what you were talking about earlier, Bob, which is like, okay, yeah, they're not killers. They're not necessarily, are they going to be able to keep their foot on the pedal? They're too nice in a way. Yes, that may be the one concern with this team a little bit, but Yeah, it's unbelievable how this team is such a high character group that doesn't give you any, locker room issues or off the court issues or any of it.
I'm going to revert for a second to back to the gambling. I got a sneaky prop bet for them. Ready? Sneaky prop bet. Number of sneaky offensive rebounds in a game by Peyton Pritchard.
Gets in there. He does.
He does.
He's guaranteed. He's good for one every night.
How about block shots by White?
I like that. But I love Pritchard offensive rebound. He's good for one sneaky offensive rebound a game, maybe two. Because I've been a fan of his since I've been on his side from the beginning. But it's really heartwarming for we members of the Pritchard fan club to see the way he's really become an important cog in that whole machine, and not just because of the 3-point shooting, but he is a tough. He's a dogged defender, and I think he's a combination of a modern Jerry Siegfried and Larry and Jerry Siechting, and Larry Siegfried and Jerry Siechting combo. So for anybody for that has relevance, that's my call.
I don't remember Siegfried at all, but Jerry
Siggy. I can still hear Johnny most, Jeff. Siggy's in his shirt, and he was dogged, very determined. Yeah,
Jeff, you got to get the black and white film out.
Siechting, I remember. I actually think Pritchard's way better with the ball in his hands. I remember Siechting is more.
But Siechting is the ultimate catch and shoot guy from
15-footer from the elbow.
Yeah. One of my favorite numbers, guys, in the last 13 games of the 1985-86 season, Jerry Siechting shot 65% from the floor. And 90% of that 65% were 15-foot jumpers. Every once in a while, there might be a layup, but not too often.
Right.
And but 65%, now that's reliable shooting.
When you're hiring for small business, you want to find quality professionals that are a right fit for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team. I mean, listen, time is money, right? And you want to make money running your business. Let LinkedIn Jobs help you find the right people to help you take that business to the next level. It's very time consuming and quite frankly, not very cost efficient. If you're running a business, trying to make it grow and also hiring your new people, that's why you have to go to LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn just isn't a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who are not actively searching for a new job, but might be open to a perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking at LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get qualified candidates within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn knows it's small business. You're wearing many hats. It might not have the time or resources to hire. Like I said, time is money. You want to be making it. Let LinkedIn Jobs help you find the people that help you make more. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to help to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature to help you write your job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/scribe. LinkedIn.com/scribe to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, I have a question. I have a question for both of you guys. I know I'm going off topic here, but you guys obviously saw CLNS Media was there to cover Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Cedric Maxwell at Dick's Sporting Goods. I don't know where it was, which Dick's Sporting Goods it was.
Well, it's a new one in the Prue, I guess. I haven't seen it yet, but down the Prue.
So how did that happen? Do we have any idea? We need to find out. Like Larry is never at any of those.
Well,
things.
I mean,
Never.
Jeff, think about it. I mean, this is a whole new type of facility for Dick's.
Okay.
It's not your typical Dick's Sporting Goods store. So it's a whole new modern type of arena type of environment.
Sports Emporium, put it that way.
Right.
I haven't been there.
Me neither.
What is the one thing that would get Larry Bird money?
Signing up.
Money.
Yes.
Money.
Yes.
Money. I mean, I was thinking the same thing right there. Yeah, Bob's got it. I mean, Max is already in town, so he's good.
No,
right?
The other three, I wasn't surprised at the other three being there. We just never see Larry.
And Larry left early.
Anywhere.
And Larry left first. He left first. He said, I got to go. He left first.
I saw. Right when Nick from CLNS, our guy, started asking questions with a microphone, Larry got up and he was like, I'm out of here. I'm out.
No,
but come on. I mean, Bob, Larry probably got a couple million.
I don't know what he's getting, but I'm sure that he's being well compensated. And he's been basically underground for quite a while. I can tell you.
He never goes out.
He's been hard to reach. So
he is the opposite of Magic Johnson in every way.
Right. I mean, it's just not his thing. It's just not his thing. So, to me, I think that they probably, to get Larry there, it had to be you got to fly him back and forth, whatever. And it had to be millions, I would think, or probably damn close to it.
But I'm sure it's ample. And
worth every dime.
Now, was there any publicity about this? I didn't know about it.
I didn't know about it either.
Until Nick Gelso posted a picture on X.
I didn't know about it either. I know. You would have been there.
How
about the biggest win? Wait, the biggest win of this pod is Bob Ryan calling it X. How about that?
Well, what can I say? It is X now. It
is X. But anyways, I do want to get to this before we get a couple of other quick topics to get to here. Why is Jamal Murray so underappreciated?
Because he plays with Jokic.
There you go.
I think it's as simple as that. Jokic is such an incredible topic of conversation.
And he's hurt. Yeah.
He's hurt a lot.
But boy, hits the game winner.
In Denver. Guys, they play in Denver.
They play in Denver. Yeah.
They didn't play in Denver. Put those dudes in New York or LA or even Boston.
And here's one I got it with the Olympics coming up. There's Canadian starting backcourt is more than likely Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jamal Murray. Can we match that?
No, probably not.
We can't beat it.
Oh, right. Right.
Shai right now might be the second best player in the NBA. And Jamal Murray is clutch. Yeah, crazy.
They've got a good roster, but they don't have a great big man, at all. But they have a lot of other components, Canada. But right away, that's a very sobering thought. They have the best backcourt in the world on paper to going into the Olympics.
What makes Adam Silver smile? It is an international game.
Oh, yeah. But to answer your question, Murray, it's hard to get. Jokic is just such a incredible phenomenon. And how about George Karl saying he thinks he's the best player he's ever seen this week? I don't know if you saw that one.
Is that what he said?
Well,
yeah,
he's ever seen.
He elevated him to that status, and he thinks he may be the best.
Well, if you think about it, it's not crazy. Obviously, we saw Magic and Bird, and he's got a ways to go, but he's a 7-footer. He's
going to get his third. It looks like he's on his way to MVP number 3.
Right.
We're going to find out next soon.
And he's a 7-footer that can handle and shoot threes, and he can control the game by making assists.
And I love it at his pace.
At his own pace.
His pace. Nobody can stop him from going where he wants to go, though he's not a great ball handler. He's not fast. He's not that strong for his body. He's a basketball player, the ultimate example of what a basketball player can be. At 7.
I don't know if you could say he's Jordan. Best you've ever seen.
I'm just saying.
Still Michael.
To me, it's hard. Size differences make a difference in what we're looking at.
Well, defensively, then you got to go to defense. On a defense, you go to Jordan. He's so.
Now, any of you guys see the fascinating story in the New York Times yesterday on Rudy Gobert?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'll try and synthesize it. Rudy Gobert has been in the working with a coach coach from Brazil for 4 years, and the Fernando Pereira is his name, and they work on mind. The mind is what, not just the physical techniques, and it's about getting reaction time. That things happen in the basketball quickly. Your mind needs to process quickly about what to do, react depending on what you've just seen and what you're about to see. And it's really good. I totally recommend it. You should see it. But here's just an example. Compared with the first season, the two worked together in 2021. Gobert's turnovers are down 10%. Assists are up 26%. And here's one. The number of field goals he has made after taking 2 dribbles is up 64% since 2019. I mean, something's going on here. And it's got nothing to do with drills, not basketball drills. It's got other kind of drills. And Gobert's a complete convert to this. And the Timberwolves in general applaud it because they think he's become a much better player and a much bigger asset than he was when in Utah. And they're very happy to have him. And it's fascinating. The things about that we think we know a lot about basketball, but there's always something new to learn. That's good.
I didn't think this would work. Honestly, I thought when they traded for Gobert,
I wondered too.
And I didn't think it would work with like Gobert just, being a big that really can't score. I still remember him. I was at the Combine years ago when he was at the Combine. Mm-hmm. Probably the worst NBA Combine performance I've ever seen.
Wow.
He was that awful. Oh, he was atrocious. And yeah.
It's fascinating. I just caught your attention about this story, and it's an athletic story because the Times Sports Department is the Athletic. It's what it is, and
right.
John Krasinski wrote it, and I learned a lot. It's fascinating. So and
that brings us to the T-Wolves right now.
Yes, brings us to the T-Wolves.
Sun is setting on Phoenix.
Yep, and I think I'll be surprised they're down 0-2. I don't see them extricating themselves from this hole at all. And we talked about the lack of depth and everything. They'll win it. They'll probably win a game at home, But I don't. I'm calling 5 here. Yeah, on that one. No. Timberwolves. I think you got to take them very seriously. That's all. The West
new blood, guys. Look, there's new blood in the league, and it's good for the league. And because of the way athletes train, because of the way they take care of their bodies, the Durants and the LeBrons of the world, they can extend their careers and they can play into their late 30s and into their early 40s. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be on top like they once were. It's a new league. It's the Minnesotas, it's the Denvers, it's the Celtics.
By the way, there's another team. To me, the biggest surprise of the early going here in the first, after 2 games, Cleveland Cavaliers, the way they played. Didn't see that coming.
They're playing Orlando. Like, I'm with you. I just don't know. Like, Orlando's not ready for this. They're not ready. They're way ahead of schedule. Yeah. And Paolo's a beast.
Yeah, I know. You're big. You're definitely a paid up member of that fan club. I
love Paolo.
I know that.
There's just not enough around Paolo. Like, they've still got to retool their team a little bit and get more help and get like a Batman, a Robin. I'm sorry, right. Next to their Batman Paolo. So. But Cleveland's good. Cleveland's good. The funniest part was watching our guy George Niang have to try to guard, and he did actually a pretty good job on Paolo. Yeah, it's like they've left him on an island against Paolo, and I'm like, this could be ugly. Looks like George has eaten a few donuts lately, but he finds a way to stay in front of Paolo.
And we were reminded last night of what team has started off the season scoring points on an incredible pace. The Indiana Pacers. Yeah, they can score, and they definitely can score. And so you don't look forward to playing them either.
All right, guys. Well, that'll do it. Brought to you by PrizePicks. Bob Ryan, Jeff Goodman, Tanguy along for the Ride Zoom It Pod. The exclusive daily fantasy partner of CLNS Media. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks. Gentlemen, until next week.
Yes.